What is up, everybody? Welcome back to my channel. As I said in another video, I'm going to be talking more about lucid dreaming upon getting the dream catchers from Lee Dreams. Link will be in the bio for where you can get your own. And a housemate has a book called From Onions to Pearls, a journal of awakening and deliverance that they're reading at the moment, and there's a chapter on dreams that I thought would be a very interesting passage to read as an introduction to this discussion on lucid dreaming. Now, we spend 1/3 of our lives asleep dreaming, so I thought it'd be a great tool for self-development to be able to become conscious while you're dreaming and explore that realm. So, without further ado, let's get into it. So, this is called The Role of Dreams. Source has done a pretty good job of locking us all into a state of illusionary separation. This is accomplished nicely by giving us an intellect whose main function is to receive the thoughts of Source, separate them into the duality of opposites, and to choose one of the polarities as good or bad. This whole process of separation is then securely reinforced by the multiple layers of conditioning that our original pure pearl of consciousness gets all wrapped up in by just being alive. There are seekers reading this book who are ready to be finders in the process of awakening back to the original state of innocence. So it seems to me that if you can intellectually understand the concepts laid out here so far and allow them to percolate on down to the heart over time, that is the most probable scenario for you to explode at some point into an intuitive knowing that becomes your wake-up call. I have found that by studying the nature of dreams before and after awakening, they have helped me intellectually understand the nature of consciousness. Now, I don't mean understanding the symbolic nature of events in dreams, like what it means when I run around naked in a dream. That psychological analysis is just another story within this story. I'm talking about how dreams function. Surely Source has given us a key of understanding here if we can see it. In our human dreams, we are in our bed at night at rest. Once we fall asleep from seemingly out of nothing, there appears a reality that, though we know it only an illusion, sure feels real to all our senses and emotions. Dramas involving the deepest expression of love or fear, with all their accompanying sidekicks, are lived and played out. People often get hurt, tortured, and even slaughtered at will. You, as a gentle, evolved soul in your waking life, do things in dreams that are unspeakable. Damn right. We've all been there, the messed up dreams. When you wake up from a nightmare, was anybody really hurt? Really killed? Really abused? No. It was all an illusion. When you were stuck in a nightmare where vicious dogs were at your throat, your feet were stuck in mud, and your voice couldn't call for help, weren't you relieved and excited when you suddenly awoke in a cold sweat and found that this was just a dream and you're not limited like that? It felt good to hug your pillow then, for the intensity of the nightmare added to the freedom and safety you felt in your secure little bed. Are you getting the connection here as to what consciousness at rest is doing in the world of appearance? As above, so below. At times, consciousness is at rest, dwelling in its infinite vastness, eternal, aware, and at peace. Then, for a change of pace, it periodically creates a world of appearance through a dreamlike process in which it becomes the subject of the object, though it remains one within. It remains one with it. In this dreamlike illusionary reality that exists only in the world of thought energy, the subject is able to experience through its objects a Leela of limitation, the one quality it doesn't have in its infinite arsenal. But in this dream, Source gets to experience 6 billion times a day the intense experience of limitation, with no two of them being alike. And that's just through the humanoids on planet Earth. Through in the quasi-infinite number of plants and animal life expressions of limitation, and the experience heats up. Now add all the other galaxies and we are talking big time experience. But when the dream ends and all the bubbles that we are on the fabric of being finally dissolve back into beingness at rest, was anyone really hurt? Did we really die? Or was it like our own dream characters? In a dream this real and intense, imagine how great it has to feel to know that the limitation was only imagined. And because of the equal balance of freedom alongside of the limitation in the equation, it was all bearable and highly amusing. It seems that Source, the subject, allows dreams to happen in its objects so they can more easily understand the whole process of the divine Leela. I'm not quite sure what the divine Leela is, but I can find out after. And how important it is that Maya be realistic to be effective. Understanding the nature of dreams also helps to put the concepts of time and space in better perspective. In a dream, you have a long sequence of events that within the framework of the dream feel like they last forever. Yet, studies done in dream labs with REM, rapid eye movement technology, have established that your whole dream took place in only a few seconds. And those mountains and trees in your dreams, how long did they take to be created? And all that space you were hanging out in, where did it come from and where did it go? So based on the analogy of time and space and dreams, just how real do you think they are in the waking dream also? Another dream phenomenon that occurred for about a year before my awakening was that I began to have lucid dreams for the first time in my life. I would be in the dream and wake up within the dream knowing that it was all just a dream. In fact, I could really enjoy the dream, no matter which direction it took. At first, I would direct the dream in the direction that I wanted to go. And sure enough, my imagination would create the total outcome. But after experimenting, I quickly realized that allowing the dream to unfold on its own and just hanging out with it as a witness, albeit a lucid witness who knew it was only a dream, somehow made the dream far more enjoyable and varied than the directed dreams. There were two benefits from lucid dreaming for me besides being the most enjoyable journeys I ever made in my headspace. One, allowing what is to be as is without changing anything, like a passenger, was better than driving the dream bus with directions. Very valuable lesson in life. 2. The incredible awareness that happens when you wake up in the dream state and see through all the make-believe served as a precursor for what was to happen later when I woke up in the waking state as well. The parallels are almost identical. I don't have lucid dreams much anymore, but every day is a lucid walk through the dream world of the waking, living, personal dream. This lucid dreamlike awareness is continual and is another byproduct of the rapture. There is yet another curiosity about my dream life that I can relate to you. Ever since my awakening, whatever degree of consciousness that is present through the deliverance in my waking state is also present to the same degree in my dream state. So it seems to me that the deliverance is continuing at full force during my dream state as well as my waking state. There is never the confusion or conflict in dreams anymore that was rampant before the awakening. Nightmares are a thing of the past. I deal with situations in dreams the same way I would in waking life. Pearl Vision sees all of waking reality as an ongoing dream of equal balance of freedom and limitation. Over in the blink of an eye and most blissful when allowed to unfold without intentional efforts. When it seems most intense and real, then you know Source is having a great time amusing itself through your vehicle. And that is the only reason we are here. I must admit that when folks first hear my explanation of Source amusing itself through us, many are freaked out. How morbid, how cruel. And their reaction is understandable, because their perspective comes from the third dimension rather than the broad and transcendental view of the fourth. If you still see Source as separate from each and every one of us, then of course it would be cruel to be amused at someone else's expense. But there is no separation here. There is only Source projecting out into multiple diverse appearances, each one reflecting a unique and different experience of life in the third dimension. Instead of Source being at rest, it is now active and infinitely creative in a dream world of appearance as it gets the most experience possible out of every single life event. When Source feels the drama of the human predicament with all its contradictions, limitations, and infinite diversity, the overall sensation comes closest to our English word amusement. It's like, haha, look at all this difference and variation. It is experienced with great humor and a sense of aliveness, in contrast to its normal state of infinite expansion at rest. I like that line. We don't yet have detailed enough words to adequately express this phenomenon, but the dictionary defines amusement as engaging the attention in a manner that keeps one interested or engrossed in a laughter-provoking, light, or frivolous way. Sure sounds like Source to me. Amusement only makes perfect sense when you feel the oneness rather than the separation. In the third dimension, everything in relation to God is felt as oh so serious. In the fourth dimension, my experience of how Source operates is all playful, amusing, and with an infinite sense of humor in its diversity. Maybe the old concept of Jehovah conditioned our minds to regard God as anything but playful or amusing unto itself. But I have to tell you, this is the quintessence of Source in my story. So that is from the book From Onions to Pearls, A Journal of Awakening and Deliverance by Satyam Nadine. So what do you think of that? I thought that was a phenomenal way to get talking about dreams, as we're going to be exploring more of that on this channel as I go on a journey to lucid dream, recall my dream, and become more aware of the dream world. So thank you very much for watching this video. Let me know your thoughts on that, and until next time.